Good afternoon. Thank you for stepping into the Foul Playland. Or good morning and thank you for stepping into the Foul Playland. As always, I'm your Foul Player. I wanted to make this short video about Jermall Charlo and his ducking ways. I made a video, or my last video that I made about Jermall Charlo, which doesn't really merit, which he doesn't really merit much video based on his opposition or his career thus-wise. But the last video I made about him, it was about the supposed offer or the offer that was made by Demitrius Andrade or the Zone and Eddie Hearn. Supposedly that offer was for $7 million. And I was saying at the time of that video, which was months ago, that Jermall Charlo should have rebutted that. Like, if it's not true, then, come out and get in front of it and say it's not true, or, say you're willing to take that fight, because I know he's not making that much money right now, in his fights. And as far as potential fights that he could have, I mean, when you factor that Canelo is been actively ducking him, there's no other fights that he can make that kind of money with. Supposedly the offer was $7 million. But 2 days ago, Jermall Charlo comes out on a video on some social media website. I'm not sure which one it was. Could have been Twitter. Could have been Instagram. And he's talking to Andrade about moving up to 168 to fight David Benavidez. To me, that's a duck move, man. You're going up to 168. You haven't fought another champion in 160 yet, and you've been campaigning there for quite a while. The belt that he got was left in sort of a vacancy because Canelo was dipping from the division, and they awarded him the franchise champion, which I know is baloney. I don't think anything of the franchise championship belt by the WBC, but the belt that Canelo chose not to defend, they let him get a version of that belt, the WBC, and they awarded the regular belt to Jermall Charlo. Now, so in essence, Jermall Charlo didn't fight nobody for that belt. But here he is, looking for a fight with David Benavidez when he has another champion offering him a fight, for money that he hasn't made yet. And PBC is doing a lot of this of late. I mean, where it's not chasing after champions, and it's like they're planning. I mean, or their matchmaking. It's very it's blasé. It's almost as if they're just throwing fights into the wind, and it's causing them bad results. I mean, you got get people getting launched out of cars, people catching bump checks, and it's not like these fighters, they still go to the hood and whatnot. I mean, or they still go to hip hop clubs. It's not like they're the most cautious dude that they have this extremely long shelf life where you could take these risks and delay their careers, and they're not going to get in trouble outside of the ring, where it'll throw all these plans into the trash. I mean, and just on Jermall Charlo, I mean, his resume is trash, especially at 160. He hasn't fought nobody at 160. I mean, the last fight he's taken was Dennis Hogan. I thought that Dennis Hogan match, even though Dennis Hogan is kind of an unknown, was one of his best matches, or one of his best oppositions before, at 160. Before that, he fought Brandon Adams. Brandon Adams is essentially an unknown. He's mostly known for being on the Contender. He also fought, before that, he fought Korobov, and he went life and death with him. And it's not like Korobov went on to become a world beater after that, because he fought to a draw immediately after that Jermall Charlo fight, and then lost to Chris Eubank Jr., which I had him winning the Chris Eubank Jr. fight, but it ended in a disqualification and Chris Eubank Jr. took the victory home, even though he was losing. So Jermall Charlo's big plan, is to either A, fight David Benavidez at 168, or to fight Chris Eubank Jr., who, for all intents and purposes, was losing to Korobov, who was also giving Jermall Charlo the fight of his life. Why not fight Korobov? I mean, and that's not even a great fight. The best fight for him to make is the champion that's offering him a matchup. A lot of people are saying, oh yeah, I want to see him fight Chris Eubank Jr. Man, I've never once in my life said that I want to see Chris Eubanks Jr. fight anybody. Chris Eubanks Jr. is not that great. He hasn't proven himself in the American market, and for all intents and purposes, he has no shine in the UK market. That's the easiest place to shine at. The best wins in Charlo's career happened at 154. I mean, if I remember correctly, he did fight Trout at 154. And that was a good fight for him. His best victory is Julian J. Rock Williams, and that was also at 154. I mean, he's proven nothing, and these people cry about getting a fight with Canelo. Listen, I don't care for Canelo much, man. But if that's the fight you're trying to make, why not go to his promotional outfit or the people that broadcast his fights, which is DAZN, and beat the guy that Canelo is avoiding at DAZN? You could make a lot of noise doing that. I mean, supposedly Eddie Hearn says that he would let Demitrius Andrade fight on Showtime or whatever network, so long as they were willing to match the offer that was given to Andrade. You can't be more fair than that. I don't know how people are silent on this issue. And now, you're already seeing the chump in him. I mean, he's calling out David Benavidez, of all people. You're calling out the youngest guy in the division who has a name. Why not call out Caleb Plant? And honestly, I don't even I have a good. I mean, if I'm not gonna put money on it because I don't bet on boxing, but if I had to put money on it, I would put that money on Benavidez. I hope Benavidez trashes this dude. In all essence, I hope he goes up to 168 because he's gonna fight some sort of tune-up. So another bad matchup, or another waste of time fight coming out of Charlo and PBC, serving us these waste of time fights, which is a recent specialty of theirs. He's gonna go up and take a tune-up match against the bum, probably against Darrell, who knows, and then take on David Benavidez and probably get trashed, probably get mauled, and I hope he gets mauled. But it's all and honestly, I blame PBC in a lot of this because every division that's dominated by PBC, you're not getting the fights we want. I never asked for David Benavidez in a Charlo fight when there's business for Charlo at 160. And it's not people say oh well, it's easier to make fights on when it's a PBC matchup. No, it's not. We're just now getting a fight with Errol Spence and Danny Garcia, and nobody's even asking for that fight. I'd rather see a Sean Porter rematch. And I didn't even want to see the Sean Porter fight, to be frank. It's not like these fights get shot off at a rapid pace that are both on PBC. These fights that they're serving us are the fourth best option most times. Chris Eubank Jr. against Jermall Charlo is, I don't even know if that's the fourth best option at 160. That might be a ninth best option. Danny Garcia against Errol Spence. I mean, that's fourth best option, maybe worst at welterweight. These matchups are whack. And Jermall, and it's not like these guys are young. David Benavidez is young, but Jermall Charlo is about to be 30 next month. You know, like, enough with the bull. Like, you know, these dudes are clowns, man. Like, you know, the next best step that Charlo could take is to fight Andrade, unify a division, and that'll force Triple G to fight you. That'll force Canelo to fight you. You're fighting on their turf, taking a championship from their guy at 160, and you could get your call-out game going immediately after that. You vanquish Andrade, and you get on the horn and say, listen, or you get on your post-fight and say, listen, like, you know, I just took your little bishop down right here. I want the kings of the zone, like, at 160. You fight on 160, you gotta see me. Or go fight those dudes at 168 after that. You don't gotta fight Benavidez. And it's not that I'm protecting Benavidez. I don't protect anybody. I like great matchups. I don't like these what equate to be exhibition matchups with dudes fighting at moving up and daring to be great, which is another specialty of the zone. I mean, of PBC lately. Like, the best scalp on Errol Spence's resume, I mean, after Kell Brook, is Mikey Garcia, who was fighting 2 divisions down, like, right before he fought him. Come on. This is trash, man. Like, we're getting, like, and you know, this is happening in the midst of nobody being able to go out because of the coronavirus. You know, these are the fights that are brewing, and they're bad fights. They're whack matchups. We're getting whack matchups from mostly from PBC. They're holding up like boxing, and you know, like people like lose interest in the sport, like in sports, because of stuff like this. I mean, like, the NFL is an established entity, you know, but the NFL draft, where they draft rookie players that are coming out of college, netted 14 million views in the midst of this coronavirus, and it's because people who are not able to go out, so everybody was locked on the TV, and these are the first sports activities that happen in months. So these fighters, they're calling out people that we don't want to see them fight in the midst of this coronavirus. Like, rather than saying, like, listen, when all this is said and done, enough time for brewing, we're gonna get it on. Whoever, like, you know, if I feel I could beat you and you feel we could beat me, enough with, you know, we don't got to take a tune-up. My tune-up is you and your tune-up is me, and let's get this going. You know, and that's why in this country, like, boxing is becoming the forgotten sport, because it's whack. All these fights are whack. You know, and I get the argument that it's hard for the brothers, and, you know, they got to compete with a lot of, like, to be frank, white hype. You know, like, when you got Golovkin fighting bums, and getting a lot more credit than when you're getting, I get all that. But what you should be doing is to outdo what he's doing. Don't, like, match him neck for neck with fighting bum dudes like a Brandon Adams or like a Hugo Centeno. You know, you match him or outdo them. Outdo Canelo. Outdo Triple G. Don't go neck for neck with them, and then down the line try to cash out when you're 34. If God forbid you don't take a loss in that route, I mean, or following that path, I don't want to see all that. That means that I'm going to see a good fight from you in 4 years. It's bull. There's not that many great fights for Charlo to fight anyway. The fight to make is Andrade or against Charlo. If not, I mean, right now, Charlo's calling Jermall Charlo. Andrade is calling Jermall Charlo out right now. You know, it's like people say, oh, well, like, Jermall Charlo tried to fight Andrade and he ducked him. That was years ago. And all right, you want to call that a duck? I mean, there was a promotional issue with Andrade going on at that time. But that's not happening right now. Just because people ducked you 5 years ago doesn't mean that people are ducking you forever. Especially when they're calling you out today. You know, your reputation for being ducked or for wanting all the smoke, i.e. Errol Spence, doesn't last forever. It's not something that it's a constant. You know, you could be a bum, or I mean, you could be shining 1 second, and be a bum in the next. Like, I mean, like, you don't get a status forever. And Jermall Charlo, you're not being ducked right now. You're being called out, and you ain't saying nothing about it. Right now, you're looking like a real pussycat. But let me know what you guys think. With that, I'm out, man. I hope you guys remain safe in the midst of this coronavirus. And that's all. Peace.